Okay, YouTube version of this week's trivia. Let's get started. Rules same as always. First category, in the news. 5 questions about things that have happened since last week. Here's your first one. What immensely popular current band was commemorated this week with their own meal deal at McDonald's? 10 chicken McNuggets, one for each member plus 3 left over, with special dipping sauce, Cajun, and sweet chili. Question 2. It was announced this week that Universal Studios is looking into the possibility of combining their 2 most successful movie franchises. With what other movie franchise might we one day see Dominic Toretto and the Fast and Furious crew cross over? Of course, that'd be jumping the shark, or at least jumping some other sort of dangerous creature. Question 3. This week, plans were announced to build the Lactus Center, which, at over 700 meters tall, will be the second tallest building in the world, topped only by one in Dubai. In what country will the Lacta Center be built? Question 4. William Amos is back in the news weeks after appearing naked on a Zoom call with other members of Parliament. What inappropriate behavior was he caught doing on screen this time? Your last in the news question. To what alliterative name did the Edmonton CFL franchise change their name this week? Okay, next category is called IMDb Top Movies. So this is all about the Internet Movie Database list of the best rated movies on their website. Here's the first question. While not a huge box office success, what 1994 film adapted from a novella is the highest rated on IMDb with a 9.2 rating? Question 7. Clocking in at number 5 with an 8.9 rating, this 1957 movie has no women listed in the cast, as the name would suggest. What is it? Question 8. Number 13 with an 8.7 rating is the first movie on this list from the most recent decade, if 2010 counts as part of the decade. But of course, time isn't always as straightforward as you think in this movie. What is it? Question 9. At number 19, you will find the first foreign language film on the list, remade several times, most notably in a popular Western film. What 1954 period piece movie occupies this spot? And your last question in this category. At number 27, you will find the first animated film on the list, also a foreign language film about a young girl who, while moving to a new neighborhood, gets lost in a spirit world. What is this movie called? Okay, the next category this weekend will be the 77th anniversary of D-Day. So this category is all about D-Day. I think that's right. Okay, here's your first question. Named for a line from a Shakespearean speech, what popular HBO miniseries portrays the missions and men of the U.S. Airborne Forces, specifically the 101st Airborne, starting with their landings on D-Day? Question 12. What natural feature of the Normandy landscape, difficult to detect in aerial photos, made fighting particularly hazardous as it obscured view for ground troops and made it difficult for armor to maneuver? Question 13. What U.S. president's son received a Medal of Honor, the highest military honor in the U.S., for his actions on Utah Beach on D-Day, which included rallying his men in the face of withering fire and leading them on a charge? Question 14. Taking its name from a region in Normandy, what apple brandy would have been a popular scrounging find for any Allied soldiers fighting in the area? And question 15. While the D-Day landings of June 6, 1944 were a success, Allied troops were still fighting in Normandy for 2 months until a breakthrough occurred, allowing the Allies to push the Nazi forces almost all the way out of France. At what battle named for a small French town did this occur? Okay, your last category for round 1 is called The Fast and the Furious. Here we go, your first question. This past week, Helio Castroneves joined the exclusive list of drivers who have won the Indy 500 4 times. What country is Castroneves from? Question 17. You wouldn't like him when he's angry. What is the name of the person who becomes the Incredible Hulk? Question 18. I'm as mad as hell and I'm not going to take this anymore. Peter Finch won an Academy Award posthumously for his role in what 1976 movie? Question 19. What record-setting American woman known for her flashy style is still to this day the fastest woman ever, holding the records for both the 100 and 200 meter sprint set at the 1988 Olympic Games, but who tragically died at just the age of 38? And your last question in this category. Hobbs and Shaw, a 2019 movie that is a spin-off of the Fast and the Furious franchise, stars Jason Statham as Deckard Shaw and what other major action film star as Luke Hobbs? Okay, that's the end of round 1. Let's take up the answers. So the band that got a McDonald's branded, or I guess branded with their name, they're called BTS. Fast and the Furious might be crossed over sometime in the future with Jurassic Park. The Lakhta Center will be in Russia. William Amos this week was caught taking a piss on camera. And the Edmonton CFL franchise will henceforth be known as the Elks. IMDb, the highest rated movie on IMDb is Shawshank Redemption. This 1957 movie with no women in the cast is 12 Angry Men. Number 13, the most recent one, or the first one from the most recent decade, is Inception. Number 19, the first foreign language film, it's The Seventh Samurai, and the first animated one, also Japanese, is called Spirited Away. D-Day, the HBO miniseries is called Band of Brothers. The natural feature, it was known as Hedges or Hedgerows. And they're all over the place in Normandy. The U.S. President's son, who received the Medal of Honor for his actions on D-Day, is the president is Teddy Roosevelt. And the son's name was Teddy Roosevelt Jr. The apple brandy, that's called Calvados. And the battle where they finally broke out of Normandy, it was called the Battle of Falaise. Fast and Furious, Helio Castroneves is from Brazil. The Incredible Hulk's real name is Bruce Banner. This movie is called Network. And this woman's name is Florence Griffith Joyner. And Hobbs and Shaw stars Jason Statham and Dwayne Johnson. Okay, next, round 2. So another in my Spotlight series, but this time's a bit different. We're going to do Spotlight Nova Scotia. It's 5 questions about Nova Scotia. Okay, here we go. First off, what is the capital of Nova Scotia? Next we have, with over 1,300 points and nearly 500 goals, who is the all-time leading NHL scorer from Nova Scotia? '23, with a name adapted from the French word for split, what bay between Nova Scotia and New Brunswick has the highest tides in the world? Question 24. Arising out of circumstance in a vibrant immigrant community, what dish prepared with thinly sliced beef and a sweet condensed milk sauce is synonymous with Nova Scotia? And your last question. Representing about 1% of the population of the province, what First Nations language with the literal meaning of my friends is the fourth most common in Nova Scotia? Okay, the next category is called conversions. To the nearest whole number, how many liters are in a gallon? Next question. To the nearest whole number again, how many centimeters are in a foot? Question 28. Words such as gherkin, maelstrom, and tattoo were all converted into English from what language? Question 29. How many yards are in a mile? And finally, which is heavier, a ton or a ton? And they are different. Okay, next category is called the Bible. 5 questions about the Bible. Here we go. Your first one. Whose wife was turned to salt for the crime of looking at something? Question 32. What apostle through his letters wrote up to 13 books of the New Testament and is attributed with the expansion of early Christianity? Question 33. What is the first book of the Bible named for an individual? Question 34. Depicted in 2 of the Gospels, what type of tree did Jesus curse, causing it to wither and die? And finally, 35. What God-fearing man has all of his wealth, loved ones, and material goods taken from him in an effort by God to prove his piety in a bet with Satan? Okay, last category is called eponyms. These are all things or phrases named for people. That's what an eponym is. Here's your first question. Adopted from the name of a Greek mythological character, what term has become synonymous with a good-looking, typically young, handsome man? Question 37. Sometimes used in a sarcastic context when someone has pointed out something obvious. No shit. Who? Question 38. Taken from the name of a Russian scientist, what is the term often used to describe a learning procedure where an animal or person becomes accustomed to associate a stimulus with a specific response? Question 39. Taking its name from an Irish chemist, what is the name of the law that dictates that the pressure of a gas increases as the volume of the container decreases? And finally, your last question, round 2. More commonly known as a malapropism. What Shakespeare character lends his name to a term for the mistaken use of an incorrect word in place of one with a similar sound? Okay, that's the end of round 2. Let's do the answers. Nova Scotia, the capital is Halifax. The leading NHL scorer from Nova Scotia is Sidney Crosby. This bay with the highest tides in the world is called the Bay of Fundy. The Nova Scotia dish is called donair. It's probably better known as Halifax donair. And the First Nations language is called Mi'kmaq. Conversions to the nearest whole number, there are 4 liters in a gallon. There are 30 or 31 centimeters in a foot. It's basically 30.5. 28. These words, gherkin, maelstrom, and tattoo, all come from Dutch. There are 1,760 yards in a mile, and a ton, T-O-N-N-E, is heavier than a ton, T-O-N. It's kilograms. Okay. The Bible, Lot's wife was turned to salt. The apostle who wrote all the books in the New Testament titled letters was Paul. First book named for an individual is Joshua. The type of tree Jesus cursed was a fig tree, and this person who had all his stuff taken from him, his name was Job. Eponyms. The Greek character synonymous with a good-looking man, Adonis. No shit, Sherlock. This is called Pavlovian conditioning. So Pavlov is the person, either is fine. This law is called Boyle's law, and a malapropism is also known as a Dogberryism. So Dogberry is the character. Okay, round number 3. There's a couple birthdays on Mundungus this week, so the next 2 categories are for them. The first one is called Batter Up. It's all about baseball. Here's your first one. When scorekeeping a baseball game, what single letter is used to denote a strikeout? Question 42. Achieved by the Toronto Blue Jays in the early 90s, what other team is the last to win back-to-back World Series championships? Question 43. How many Toronto Blue Jays players have won Rookie of the Year? Is it 1, 2, or 3? Question 44. What 1969 team was dubbed a miracle for their unlikely run to a championship that season? And your last question. While some MLB teams these days are really bad, none have achieved the level of ineptitude made legendary by an 1899 team that went a staggering 20-134. What was the name of this woebegone team? Okay, the next category, also from Mundungus, is called Batter Up. This is all about cooking. Here we go. What is the name for the cooking process in which a food, usually a fruit or vegetable, is scalded in boiling water briefly and then plunged into cold water? Question 47. What is the name of the type of pot pictured below common in North African cooking? Question 48. What is a light and fluffy pie filling made with stabilized gelatin and beaten egg whites called, such as the one pictured below? Question 49. If beef is cooked en brochette, what does that mean? And finally, when a chef puts out every ingredient needed to prepare a dish ahead of time, what is that called? Okay, general knowledge. What does the word nugatory mean? Is it useless or of no value, an obligation to complete a task, or resembling or having a consistency similar to butter? Question 52. Deriving its name from the French word for the rump of a horse, what is the name of someone who assists in the conduct of a game at a casino? Question 53. What pop star's alter ego name is Sasha Fierce? Question 54. What does the Latin term tempus fugit mean? Your last general knowledge question. Ernst Stavro Blofeld is the arch nemesis of what fictional character? Okay, 3 pointers. Who are the Greek gods of the following? Wine, wisdom, and agriculture. It's 3 different people. Question 57. What are the names of the following 20th century artworks? Question 58. By number of total students enrolled, what are the 3 largest universities in Ontario? Question 59. What are the periodic table elements with the following abbreviations? SC, LA, and RE. finally, which three of the following countries were officially a part of the coalition of nations that participated in the Iraq War starting in 2003? Belgium, Canada, France, Greece, India, Israel, Italy, Romania, Russia, and South Korea. 3 of these were part of the coalition, the rest were not. Okay, let's do the answers. Baseball, so the single letter used to denote a strikeout, that's K. The last team to win back-to-back World Series, the New York Yankees. I might have to double check that, but I'm pretty sure that's right. 43, how many players have won Rookie of the Year for the Jays? That's 2. Alfredo Griffin and Eric Hinske. The 1969 team dubbed a miracle were the New York Mets. And this legendarily bad team were known as the Cleveland Spiders. So cooking, this type of cooking process is called blanching. This pot is a tagine. This type of cake filling is called chiffon. En brochette means on skewers. And this is called mise en place. Okay, general knowledge. Nugatory means useless or of no value. The French word for someone who assists at a casino game is called a croupier. Sasha Fierce is the alter ego of Beyonce. Tempus fugit means time flies, and Ernst Stavro Blofeld is the nemesis of James Bond. Greek god of wine is Dionysus, wisdom is Athena, and agriculture is Demeter. These works of art, the first one is called American Gothic, the second one is called Nighthawks, and this third one is called The Son of Man. The largest universities in Ontario, U of T, York, and Ryerson, so all in Toronto. These elements, we have scandium, lanthanum, and rhenium. And finally, the countries listed here that were involved in the invasion of Iraq are Italy, Romania, and South Korea. The rest did not participate. Okay, that's trivia for this week. Hope you had fun.